of changing times. May I, at this juncture, hasten to mention that the University Council, just introduce yourselves to, has provided for by the Universities Act, is the supreme governance organ of any university in Kenya. As such, it behoves the Council to institute and maintain adequate and appropriate governance and management structures that serve to maintain the university's corporate integrity, reputation, and responsibility. Existing structures and systems have served the university well over the past 50 years. As the University of Nairobi celebrates her Golden Jubilee this year, our individual and collective reflections have brought us to a point of inflection. In light of the experience of years gone by, we now, of necessity, must ask ourselves what will hold us in good stead to the centenary. Council is of the considered view that there is an overarching imperative to re-engineer how we do business to better deliver on our mandate. The road to reform has been a long one. To her credit, Dr. Vijay Ratans, the Chancellor of the University of Nairobi, constituted the first ever visitation panel in a Kenyan university. This eminent panel, under the able stewardship of Professor Margaret Kobia, now the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Public Service and Gender, submitted its report in 2018. It is this report that formed the blueprint from which the current reforms are derived. The panel, through pointed findings, but stressed the need for an over-encompassing reform towards greater institutional efficiency and effectiveness. These reforms touch on areas of legal and legislative structure, relations with other stakeholders, service delivery, human resource, safety and security, procurement, amongst other reforms. Ladies and gentlemen, the Council, in its strategic plan of 2019-2024, amongst other reforms, reiterated the need for governance and structural reforms. The management, on its part, through the Vice Chancellors, embraced and reinformed reform in the Senate, approved Vice Chancellor's Reform Agenda 2020. And members of press, you might have seen the Vice Chancellor several occasions talking about the reforms to media and therefore to the public of Kenya. So various committees of the university thereafter have echoed the same sentiments that we need reform. Acknowledging the reforms might trigger changes to statutory instruments. And therefore the Council instituted an ad hoc committee with the mandate of, inter alia, reviewing and updating existing University of Nairobi statutes and policies. In a sense, therefore, the university is unequivocally speaking the same language, that without reform, our sustainability as a premier university is greatly endangered. focusing on the next 50 years and our sustainable existence as a capable institution of higher learning, structural and governance reforms in our context is imperative to achieve the following objectives. And objective number one, to respond to the changing operating environment. Number two, to eliminate duplication of functions and redundancies. Number three, to improve efficiency in service delivery and align resources to functions and manage costs of service delivery. Number four, to enhance accountability, utilize excess capacity at the university to generate resources. And number five, and last, to address the challenge of declining capitation from traditional resources. In meeting these above objectives at the global scale, the University of Nairobi, therefore, has one, abolished offices, merged functions, and created new functional positions aligned to the core mandate of the university. Some of the abolished positions are 5 offices of deputy vice chancellors, replaced by 2 positions of associate vice chancellors. 2, abolished all colleges and reorganized all functions around faculties, which have been reduced to 11 to avoid duplication and functional overreach. 3, abolished all positions of principals and deputy principals and their roles, and their roles reorganized under new positions of executive and associate deans to align resources to the faculties where teaching and learning take place. And 4, has retained 14 research institutes, including Kavi, Wangari Maathai Institute, Institute of Development Studies, and this institute will continue generating knowledge for transformation of communities. Ladies and gentlemen, in our view, the resultant governance and structural reforms envision a new thinking, a thinking that breaks down bureaucracy for the benefit of our stakeholders. This, as exemplified earlier, is achieved by abolishing all unnecessary layers of reporting and in so doing eliminating forwarding offices and in their stead replacing them with reimagined functional offices that lend themselves to conclusion of tasks and resolution of queries at the lowest functional unit. This is expected to result into a lean yet optimal structure that aims at achieving a greater degree of functional devolution of resources, accountability, and responsibility, and thus creating a flexible, adaptable, and responsive university governance ecosystem. The new structure is informed by the centrality of teaching, research, and innovations, themselves functions of the core of our mandate, the functions at the core of our mandate. A robust ICT infrastructure alongside requisite investments, reinvestments, improvements, and facility development aspiration under university advancement are deemed critical components for delivery of teaching, research, and innovation going forward. So to keep the boat afloat, the administrative support services will be consolidated under various functions and respective professional heads, all reporting to a chief operating officer, COO, who directly answers to the vice chancellor. We therefore envision that these structural interventions will result in shorter decision turnaround time and greater physical discipline, as evident in timely decision support systems, value for money proposition, significant cost savings, greater competitive advantage, and enhanced sustainability. Ladies and gentlemen, in concluding, we note the congruence of purpose in the pronouncements by Honorable Ambassador Oko Yatan, Cabinet Secretary, the Ministry of Treasury and Planning, about reforms of state corporations. At this point, when the country economy begs a thorough review, we at the University of Nairobi are happy to have played and to continue playing our part in augmenting government efforts. As a council, we confirm that the exercise of implementing these and other reforms will endeavor to avoid unnecessary disruptions in service delivery and optimally deployment of resources available to the university. Ultimately, the University of Nairobi and the country, by extension, can only look forward to better times. So, with this, we want to thank you very much for joining us to listen to our reforms at the University of Nairobi. And may God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, for the statement. Perhaps we would take instruction from another request. Introduce yourself, the speaker. We take three at once, and then we will start.
My name is Shaka from Kenya. You talked about abolishing colleges and reduce the number of principals to 11. Perhaps for that, you could tell us how many colleges are there as of now. And there is a point you talked of 14 research institutions. We did not get it clearly. Perhaps you could visit it. And in doing all this, at the end of the day, it appears that it's boiling down towards saving the institution of extra costs. Really, what is your forecast? How much does the university intend to save by doing this? Yeah, Chair. Mine is how this abolition can affect the academic. Two, what advice or the challenge are you giving to the authority by abolishing this? It will going to affect the academic.
Thank you.
My name is Jacinta Muda from Standard, and by abolishing some of these offices and functions, how many jobs are you talking about? How many people are going to lose their jobs by these reforms?
Good. I'm going to give the last one to you. Mr. Hassan will answer that one. The first one and the second, I think I give them to the Vice Chancellor. If there's an area, then you abolishing the colleges, functions, and all that. And okay.
Thank you, Chair.
You want to put them across? Okay.
We'll take position.
Wait, switch.
No,
No.
We can start with the last one,
Yes.
and Mr. Hassan,
Thank you.
Abdi Hassan, a member of the council, will answer on our behalf. It's human resource matters.
Thank you, Chair of the Council and my colleagues. On the question by Jacinta of the Standard, the reforms that the Council is undertaking will not result in any loss of jobs. We as a Council, we are very conscious about the situation in which Kenyans are. We have taken very serious concerns about job losses, and we have just re-engineered our systems, and we want to assure members of the press and all Kenyans that there will be no job losses at the University of Nairobi. There will be no job losses. That is what we want to send out and want to assure our both members of the academic staff and the non-teaching staff. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Now we go to the Vice Chancellor to tell us about the abolition of colleges and their positions.
okay, thank you very much, members of the press. We, as a university, we have 8 units which are considered to college level. All these have been doing work that has been done also already in the faculties. So what the council has resolved that therefore the work from faculties comes directly to Senate rather than first going to the college and then coming to Senate. Because the same members who attend the college committees and the college boards are the same ones who are in the faculty boards. And that has sometimes delayed processing of whether it's admissions or whether it's processing exams, when we are processing graduation processes. Because of that added layer, the same people have to, when they convene at the faculty level, they still have to convene at the college level to approve the same thing they approved at the lower level. So you're saying the best thing to enhance effectiveness and efficiency is better that those who examine at the faculty make the decision and bring to Senate and defend the same without having another extra layer. So that's the layer which has come off, and there are 8 units at the moment. The other one to regard with the research centers. Yes, we have 14 research centers. These research centers had also academic programs. So you find they would admit 5 students, 10 students, but as a result, you have to hire a full complement of teaching staff to teach those few students. So what the council has resolved, let the teaching take place at the faculty, where all the teaching staff are. And those research institutes remain because they are very important to us to continue carrying out research, because in any case, the research is multidisciplinary. It draws from teaching staff from all departments, and they can converge at the research institutes. Let's say, for example, the Kenya Vaccine Institute, or Institute of Infectious Diseases, or Wangari Maathai Institute, which teaches governance, or CASLEB, Center for Environmental Law and Policy. There are many, or Women's Studies Center. what the work they do there is multidisciplinary. So that should continue, and we have now provided an appropriate structure of associate vice chancellor in charge of research to support those institutes to ensure that the research that is carried out there is also goes out to the communities to be able to be applied to application. So that's where we want to emphasize, because University of Nairobi has a mandate for teaching and learning, and has a mandate for research. And the issue is to ensuring that the research we carry out goes ahead to transform communities. So we will continue to enhance those, but not incubate them with academic programs. And expecting those teachers to continue teaching, and they're carrying out research. They will teach in their mother department, but they carry out research in those areas. Cost saving. The cost saving is progressive. There is obviously now some cost saving which will come as a result of reduction of operational costs. Yeah. But we expect that as we continue to fine tune this structure and we align the competencies of staff with the functions, the core functions, that there is going to be in the long run saving. As has been said by one of the council members, we said from the beginning that in this reform, they have to be people-based. We have to have concern for the staff that we have. And therefore, that should not be the priority. The priority should be now more on enhancing our efficiency and effectiveness, aligning the staff we have with the work that we have, and ensuring they are supervised for the operations and the work that we have approved. How will this affect the academics? In our view, and what was proposed also in Senate, it will make the management of academic functions more effective, efficient, and accountable. So that when a student says they have missed their marks, we know who it is who is responsible for that issue. Rather than having too many layers, you have to go to this person, who goes to another person, who goes to another person. This new structure is to provide more efficient delivery of academic functions. Thank you very much.
Maybe just one follow-up question. I don't know whether this was the chair will respond to that.
Just ask your question, then we'll decide.
Yeah, you given an assurance that there are no job losses and that no job is under any threat. But I'm just looking at you talked of 5 offices of the BBC being collapsed into 2 offices of associate DCs. I don't know how that one responds to the argument that there will be no job losses. And again, is this move in any way related to what was highlighted as a conditionality by the IMF? Because IMF directly pointed out that about 3 public universities, not named, but state-owned, they were listed as state-owned enterprises that have been in the loss making. And so among the few conditionalities for IMF to look at money was to engineer some restructuring. So is this in any way linked to that?
If I may respond very quickly. Fortunately, members of the place, is that these positions we are talking about, these posts at DVC, are contractual positions. And this is the right time for council to have considered this decision, because if you note, many of those positions are currently occupied on acting appointments. So the deputy vice chancellor in charge of finance now is in charge of finance now is acting, human resources is acting, and this is common knowledge. So the council, if you remember, recently the chair released a circular saying we need to look at all this before filling those positions. So those positions are contractual, and where there are people occupying those positions currently, those people will be taken care of until their term is coming to an end, so that now we don't hire into those positions. So that is the way. The good thing is that those positions are contractual. Yes, we have had the IMF recommendations. As the chair mentioned earlier, These reforms agenda started in 2018. The University of Nairobi has been consulting and discussing this matter. It is really very timely that even the minister, the CS Treasury, already released a statement yesterday, but the council has already been working on this matter. So it has tied, it means that being a government institution, we are responsive to the environment, the changing in the environment, and the council and the chancellor and the university community has been working on this process. The only thing is that now it has aligned with what also the government is doing. Thank you.
Good. We want to thank you once more. Thank you for being our ambassadors, and thank you for attending our function this morning. God bless you.